Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mumeanha. If you're new here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell for all to be notified when I post new readings. And of course, like, comment, and share this video. This is a general reading for the collective, so only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You're responsible for your actions and reactions to readings, be it personal and or general. For those of you who are used to me, you know that I'm an intuitive reader and a spiritual advisor / guide. So with that being said, I normally don't need the cards, but the cards help me to paint the picture for you of what I'm seeing and picking up on energetically, what I'm channeling in. This deck here is very, very powerful. Just the way that it was done, the way the energies flow through it as I was shuffling it. We're focusing on the energy of Saturn. So protection, banishing, and cleansing. That's what this reading is going to be about. I was led to split this deck into two parts. And as you guys know, I'm always led by the divines at any cards that I use for you guys. This is the Adventurer's Tarot Empress deck by WeirdWorks. I'm going to have their information in the description. I believe I said all that correctly, but I'm going to put them in the description nonetheless. And of course, any other info you need on personal readings and etc. will be in the description. I was led to leave the bottom of the decks face up, and we already have two confirmations with the Druid and the Fae. There's a lot of synchronicities in this reading, actually. So let's tap on into it and get to the bottom of it, loves. Okay, so on the surface, your energy comes in here as the cleric. Now, this is very important because many of you are light workers. You haven't totally stepped into that yet. Some of you might be practicing Reiki healing or you're at least curious to learn about it. But this is confirmation that many of you are light workers. The cleric, however, is coming in right now as wisdom. So the thing about the cleric, they will absorb as much knowledge as possible, and then they'll decipher that knowledge, dig into it and see what they can take and how what they take will bring unity. Like they seek unity and they seek a common goal whenever they're dealing with people, whether it's family, friends, people at work. They're always like, okay, how can we come together and reach a common goal and get done what we're trying to get done? So they have to be very wise to do this. They have to be used to tapping into their wisdom and into wisdom in general in order to accomplish this goal. So you might be the kind of person that thinks to yourself, how can I help someone today? Or how can I better myself so that I am of more use or help to another person? And that's a beautiful energy to have. What I will say, be careful not to conform too much, not to fall into conformity, because if you were to do that, you would end up stuck. And there's already some stuck energy going on here. But you don't want to be somebody that's so caught up on what you've been taught that when something challenges it, you put up a wall. Whether it's a spiritual teaching, something in the physical world, like, maybe you know everything about cooking and you think that you can only bake macaroni and cheese one way when maybe there's like 1,000 ways to do it or something. Probably something more serious than that, but I'm trying to keep it simple. But don't get caught up on, oh, all right, I was taught something this one way, and so that's what I'm sticking to. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm not looking at any other perspective. Be open to seeing other perspectives, because first of all, when you do that, you'll find that in many cases you're led to what you'll discover. You'll gain more freedom that way, and you'll be able to have your own voice instead of just repeating back something that someone taught you. And any real advisor or any real spiritual teacher, because I feel like for some of you, you're stepping into the spiritual journey and you're coming across different energies. Be open to hear. Trust your intuition. Right? And we all have it. We all have intuition. Trust your intuition. Allow yourself to flow and tap into it more naturally. You'll be placed where you need to be. Sometimes you might be placed with a person where only every other word makes sense to you. That's fine. You were meant to hear those every other words. And then you move on to the next person. Like I say, to know everything is to know nothing. And to know nothing is to know everything. You must always be willing to put yourself in a position of, you know what, I don't really know. So that you can learn it from a new perspective and take it in with that excited energy of wisdom, with that excited, yes, I need to know more about this way that you do things so that I can expand upon it. That's the energy coming in here. Hopping on over to the Two of Plants. This Two of Plants card, first of all, gave me a lot of fire energy. I also want you guys to notice in the color scheme here, I feel like this is centering in more on the crown. Indigo is centering in on the third eye opening. The third eye is never really closed, but that's a light wisdom podcast for another time. But we also have shades of yellow, so like the solar plex. These are chakras that you can tap into to enhance how you go about wisdom here, right? Because wisdom comes from those areas, from those 3 points automatically. So, you know, just something to notice here. And then we get into a bit of heart here with the green, and we have a lot of sacral and root chakra energy coming with this card, and a lot of fire too. I'm picking up on air signs and fire signs just from these 2 cards alone. So Libra, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Leo, Gemini, Aries. You guys get it. You know your zodiacs. So it could be in your sign, or it could just be the energy. As I said, even when the signs aren't in your chart, the energy matters for the reading. The pros and the cons of the energy matters. So that it's a lot of passion, a lot of clear thought coming in here. Wisdom involves you tapping into clear thought. So you can kind of think of this card as like a blend between emotions and swords. And you can think of this one as like the wands energy for right now, or wands and pentacles. This plant card, it's about productivity. Understanding that when you plant the seed of something, you have to be patient. Now, some things will bloom fairly quickly. Many things take their time to bloom. They got to go through the seasons. They got to go through the changes. So if you found that you've planted the seed for maybe it's something with entrepreneurship, could be a relationship, give it time to expand, give it time to grow. Give yourself time to expand and grow, because again, that ties back into that wisdom, not being stuck. Because on the flip side, you notice how we have this animal here, these bones. That's an animal that was caught in a snare. So some of you might feel like you're caught in a snare right now, like you're a bit overwhelmed or stuck. Too many crowds, just too much going on around you. People are like losing their mind. And that's the energy that's coming in here. Is it's like a person's feeling really overwhelmed, maybe with family or friends. And with a new lockdowns are coming in certain places, already began in certain places. Some people are feeling overwhelmed with the rush of how other family members are kind of like stressing out. And they might be unintentionally putting some of that stress on you. If you find that you need to step back, you need to take a moment to self-do so. Also, another thing I'm picking up here, because you guys are so good at being givers and you're so good at giving advice or guidance yourself, you might find that someone you care about, or someone's, you keep giving them advice because you really want them to get their life together, and they're not listening to you, and you're investing a lot of energy in when they don't listen to you. Like, you're really letting it stress you out. You can't make them do anything. The same way no one can make you do anything. If you find that there are people in your life trying to make you feel stuck by telling you, hey, the way I taught you is the only way, or hey, you have to help so-and-so because that's your brother, your sister, your cousin, your lover, whatever. If that person is willfully not listening to you, and they're just refused, it's like you're trying to plant a seed in soil that's not ready, or in soil that can't be planted in. They have to be open to receive the seed the seed of knowledge, the seed of help that you're trying to plant. And if they're not, then you need to fall back. Just pull back from that. You don't have to do it in a toxic way, but pull back. Let you connect with yourself. Be fair to yourself, which is interesting. You're going to see why being fair to yourself matters in this reading, but nonetheless, you get what I'm saying for those of you dealing with that. Especially if you're overwhelmed with the corona and work and things like that. And if you find that you took on too much from work, some of y'all are workaholics, and you might have took on too much at work, and you're going to need to now spread some of that out. Like, hey, I took on a bit too much. I can't manage all this by myself. I actually need some assistance. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That also comes out here. That comes out here, honestly, with the Druid. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to be fair to yourself and sometimes step back. Because listen, we're all a part of the same tapestry. We all tie into each other. When you actually take a break and you recharge your energy, you're helping the collective. When you force and you push and you become fatigued and you get tired and all this other stuff, it goes against the collective energy as well. So it doesn't just hurt you, but it also may hurt the people that you care about as well. Pull back when you need to. We have the Wild Oracle card. What I love about the Wild Oracle card, it's destiny and luck, and once again, synchronicities and confirmations. The Wild Oracle card, from a destiny perspective, it talks about being in flow with destiny. You could already be in this state. If not, it could be something that other people see in you, even if you don't see it in yourself. Whenever you learn something or whenever you're led to do a certain activity, especially if it's spiritual, it should come natural. It's not that you pre-planned it. You didn't make this whole blueprint. It just happens. And other people notice that within you. They see it even if you don't notice it. And if you do notice it, then you know what I'm talking about. You tend to flow very easily. But some of you, again, because we have that caught in the snare, that I'm stuck, kind of trapped in vibration. For some of you, you don't believe you're lucky, and you actually probably believe that you have more of a fated life. There's a difference between destiny and fate. Most people have a hard time differentiating because fate can still play a part into destiny. However, fate is very fixed. Fate doesn't really move. It's stuck where it is. So let's say, for example, a person is telling you, again, this is the way you learned this. This is the only way. Don't look at no other perspective because this is how it's done. You got to trust me and only me. It kind of takes away your freedom. It takes away you questioning. It takes away you following your own higher self instinct and where the divine leads you as an individual, right? So if you were to stay on that path, you have a kind of predictable life. It's not that it's super predictable. It's not that there aren't going to be certain things that will come in and take place, but it's predictable enough that you'll probably miss beautiful opportunities because you've chosen to believe what this person said about you. You've chosen to believe what someone else put on you. You also got to be careful not to do the same thing. People in this kind of energy, they can get a little preachy sometimes. You don't want to be the person doing that to someone else as well. So the Wild Oracle is saying to you, when it comes to luck, no one can take that from you because it's already within you. You're an abundant being. You're always in a state to win. There may be times that you need to learn lessons, and those lessons can come in as a loss, but focus on the lesson, not just, oh, I lost something and now I'm without. You're never really in lack. You can believe you're in lack, and if you believe you're in lack, you create that reality because your thoughts create your reality. What you think of yourself, the world, the people around you, that will manifest around you. That's how powerful you are. Do not play around with that power. It's also about owning up to times that you've already done this. There are times that you feel stuck because of your own actions, by you allowing someone to guilt you into something, trick you into something, or just telling your own self that you're not worthy of whatever it is. It creates a fixed path. Now, this doesn't mean fixes it as in you can't get off the road, but many a time you'll end up in so many situations that you'll probably lose faith that you can get off that road, and that becomes your very fixed, fated road. Now, destiny follows your north node. It's the unknown. Because and that's the other thing this oracle card represents, even when you think of your future, you can know a lot of what's to come, but you don't know how it's going to come. And that's the good thing, because now you don't have to have a very fixed expectation on what it is. You can expand and say, I trust and believe I'm going to get what I deserve. I trust and believe that I'm abundant and that everything that I'm worthy of, because I am worthy, is coming towards me. I don't really need to know all the details that well. And when you need clarity, you need guidance, then you go to that spiritual advisor or that reader or whatever it is that you tap into, source itself, your higher self. You tap into those energies, let it lead you to where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. But again, you stay flexible in it. And because you're now flexible in it, doors open where doors didn't open before. New opportunities come in where you thought they weren't plausible before. Now, how does this bring in fate again? Because there'll be people that you're fated to meet on that path. Quite frankly, you're fated to meet them either way. But if you choose a detour, then it's kind of like when two people are in the same mall and they don't know it and they just keep walking past each other. It's like that. It's like the person will always be around you and in your vicinity, but it's like y'all just keep missing each other. Whether it's a teacher, lover, a spiritual guide that's trying to talk to you that you can't hear because you're too busy in your head about some other stuff. So the Wild Oracle card says, look, you don't need to know everything about the future. Flow with destiny. You don't need to worry about overthinking your luck. If you believe that you have bad luck, you will manifest bad luck. If you believe that you have good luck, you will manifest good luck. It's really that simple. The oracle says you have options in how you view the world. You do have free will and you have choices within those free wills. So if you thought that fate and destiny meant that you didn't have choices, that's not what it means. You do have choices. You can choose your path, but there are, of course, pros and cons. And you have to be willing to go through the lessons necessary to gain what you truly deserve. This person has these pages in front. One page can represent the fixed path. I'm going to do what everybody tells me to do, and of course that leads me on a certain road. For example, if you I'm just going to say what channels intake what resonates. If you got pregnant in high school, there's a certain fixed destiny that people project on, well, fixed fated life that people project on you. You could choose that. Or you can choose the neutral, where you tap a little bit into the other, tap a little bit into, don't really do much, stay stuck. Or you can say, I'm actually going to flip all of this around and I'm going to float with destiny. My destiny isn't just stuck between these two things here. So I'm hoping that makes sense to you. I'm probably talking a little fast, but that's what happens sometimes when channeling. Everything just flows out. Hopefully you guys can understand me clearly. We're going to now tap into the hidden. I'll get into that one later. We're going to tap into the hidden. We have the Fae. What I love about this is a hidden thing that's taking place within you to a degree that you may not notice. You might notice you're going through a transformation, which is one of the things that this card represents, is transformation. You may notice that, but you don't know just how deep it goes. It goes really deep. You might look back a month from now, a year from now, and not recognize who you are. That's how much you're going through a transformation. However, this card is also about reflection, and because it repeats here at the bottom of the deck, both have to be mentioned to you. Reflection means taking time, once again, if you're getting overwhelmed, especially taking time to just be with yourself. Meditation, some type of ritual. Meditation, you may need a salt bath. Remember, this reading is about protection, banishing, and cleansing. So there might be a lot of old beliefs and just vibrations of other people, places, and things that you need to cleanse off of your body. You're divinely protected, but you're also responsible for your divine protection too. Your higher self plays a part. Believe it or not, your higher self will sometimes create the challenges in order to try to wake you up to do what you need to do. And so this card is saying you're going through this powerful transformation. You need to acknowledge it, because right now it's in the hidden. You may not be acknowledging it as much on the surface as you should, patting yourself on the back as much as you should. Acknowledge it. And while you're acknowledging it, take time to reflect. Go within. Look at where you were. Look at how far you've come. Let that motivate you and give you momentum to push even further. Now, this is even further confirmed with this card, because we have Three of Celestial. This is the shadow side of this card. So this is super ego. Remember what I said earlier, you might have people guilting you into things, making you feel shamed. And when that happens, it's easy to get into that ego mentality, which is how you can also get into that, I learned something one way, so I'm going to teach it to someone else one way, and they better do it that way because otherwise, blah, 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 right? See how they all flow into each other? Super ego is also the side of you that, I always explain to people, because sometimes people look at like the ego from one perspective. Ego operates from both protection and fear. It can be a mixture of both or one over the other. Sometimes it's not that it's afraid of what it's protecting itself against. It just don't feel like going through what it thinks is beneath it. So it puts up a wall. That part of you starts to put up walls everywhere. You got to be mindful of that. Because when you shut yourself off in a negative way, not only are you hurting yourself, you're hurting the collective. You got things to do. Okay, sweetheart, you got stuff, you got places to be. Blessings that you need to act upon. You ain't got time to just keep putting up walls, and every person that comes in your life that's meant to contribute some knowledge to it gets shut out because they don't fit in your box. You can't do that. You can't box people in. You're really not supposed to box yourself in. And if you're going to box yourself in, just know you were warned. You were warned that, hey, you might miss some powerful opportunities doing that. At the same time, it also comes from fear. So the fear of being hurt, the fear of being let down, the fear of letting someone else down because you've been shamed. This card is speaking to allowing yourself to be raised up out of that energy and into freedom. Allowing yourself to be set free. So notice how freedom, repeated, letting go of other people's beliefs and control of you, repeated, stepping into your wisdom, but just being mindful that you don't become what you had a disagreement with or what you didn't like that other people were doing to you. Notice how that comes back out here, and that all of that's taking place anyway because you're already in a transforming state. You might need to do some rituals, or rather you do, because this card is here. You need to do some rituals where you go within and look at that. Repeats again. So even in the hidden, you're being told, yeah, tap into Tap into that solar energy. Notice the chakras are repeating again. Here we have a lot of heart. We have a lot of heart chakra. We have that indigo again. We have the blue. Whenever I see blues and greens merging together, I think of that as the gradient, the in-between space between the chakras. And you have many more chakras than just the 7, but for now, we're going to focus on the 7. And that's going to take us into the Druid card up here first, because the Druid card is about fairness. Fairness for yourself, fairness for others, the kind of fairness that, once again, frees you, frees your spirit, frees your mind, because you're open-minded. You don't let anything twist your heart or your thoughts about self, right? That's an energy that's within you. It's non-debatable, non-negotiable. This energy exists within you. I love that it's at the bottom of the deck as confirmation for the surface thing, because people might describe you as a fair individual or someone who can be fair. However, what we have in the hidden, we have that neutral. I'm not really going to make a decision. I'm just going to kind of like be a little negligent and just sort of stand around and then see. We can't have that. That's something to cleanse out. And this might be due to your heart. Some maybe heartbreak or betrayal of some kind has kind of turned you into the person where you really don't like to pick a side. You might have, now this is channeling in, you might have had to choose sides with maybe your parents when you were younger, or with some type of authority figure in your life, and they really made you feel like shit about it. So now it's a challenge to really make a decision, especially when it involves other people. More likely when it involves like, this one's right, that one's wrong. Listen, while neutral exists, sometimes there's a universal right and a universal wrong. Now, they're very colorful. They're not black and white. They're very, very colorful. However, you need to make a decision. And I feel like that's confirming. It's right under the Wild Oracle. That's confirming making that decision between the fated life versus the destiny life, where you flow with destiny and where you're fated to end up is far more exciting and unknown versus the fixed path where, it's redundant. It just, you get what I'm trying to say, right? So it's about making those choices, being fair to yourself and others, but making that choice and remembering when you love yourself and you take care of yourself, then you can actually help everyone else. And doing all of that helps the collective anyway. We are all connected. And what we do paints the colors of that tapestry. So do you want it to be murky and dreary and ugh? Or do you want it to be vibrant, colorful, sensual, beautiful? Because once again, I'm picking up on divine feminines and masculines that have a hard time tapping into their sensuality. Now we're going to get into this beautiful deck here. This was the card that fell on the floor. Look at that, hidden. Notice, remember I said earlier I would use this for dreams as well. This says, see if I can zoom it, Court of Dreams, hidden. What are your hidden desires? What are your hidden talents? What's hidden under the surface that you need to bring to the forefront? I'm also noticing the number 4 here. So 4 might be some of you guys' life paths. That's just what channeled in just now. Take what resonates. That may not be for everybody. Or you could be seeing 4s a lot, like 444, that type of thing. 414, 410, 411. These are the things channeling in right now. For some reason, 4, even though we have a lot of numbers here, 4 is standing out. Also, 3 is standing out. And 3 is what the celestial card was. So 3 might also be someone's life path, or you're seeing 333. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Allow yourself to be free. Cleanse out what doesn't serve you. Express yourself more. Banish people or energies that are around you that don't fit you. You don't have to hang out with everybody. You don't have to be confrontational. You don't have to hate anyone, but cleanse your space. Plant seeds in rich soil and then be patient and allow them to grow. Choose a flow in life. Choose a destined life versus a fated life only, where you're just kind of stuck in one thing. Choose your north node. Go in the unknown space. Your wisdom is a beautiful thing. It's rich. I'm also picking up on the other signs here now, like the earth signs. So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Out of the waters, the strongest 2 I'm picking up on is actually Scorpio and Cancer. Actually, no, Scorpio and Pisces. Cancer is a little bit, it's still there, but it's a little faint. And also I want you to notice with this Druid card, remember what I said about the gradient? See how this it's like this teal and turquoise color? So it's like the communication in the heart chakra. So communicate from the heart. When you're thinking of being fair to yourself and others, always do it from your heart space. That's the encouragement here. And you have a lot of healing within the heart to do, and a lot of sacral chakra healing to do, because the colors of orange repeated multiple times. It's even a little bit over here. That's your reading, my loves. Pray that that resonated with you. It gave you some clarity and guidance. Until next time, peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Blessings.